was take advantage of the game mechanics, so I kind of curve around a turn while keeping almost every bit of extra momentum that I have. And hopefully I'll be doing that in a larger scale after this checkpoint. Do some jumps here. And there we go. Those are the air control tricks in this game. The PS1 version specifically runs at a lower frame rate. I will explain that. Actually, I probably should go ahead and explain that. I'm using the PS1 version because this version has physics and control differences that give it a significant advantage over every other version. Like, for example, you can keep boost better on this version. Well, you can keep speed better on this version. In terms of controls, normally in this game, to do the hydro jump, you need to let go of the boost, hit the brakes, and then boost. But in this version, you can just hit the brakes while boosting. So and so all that makes the PS1 version much faster than the others. This track coming up, Greek Isles, we may very well see how fast a boat can go if I do this correctly. We won't be seeing it until about halfway through the track, so it'll be a little bit. Do the air control here. I have not looked into it. I have not looked into any differences between regions as of yet. Okay, so this is where we will hopefully be seeing boats going fast. We're going to retain all the momentum that we gained from that drop and maintain it for much longer than we originally intended to. Uh-oh. I didn't get that. Okay. That still went decently. Or choose feet? Maybe? Okay, so the next track is Lake Powell. There isn't much to say about this track, but I'll use this to go into a bit more about the mechanics. The way I go about hydro dumping and the way the game works is that if you are angled within a certain angle range, you will actually go slightly faster. And if you jump while in this angle range, you will not lose any momentum upon jumping. And if you also boost in the air while angled, you will have the boost gain is faster. And yeah. I do also want to note that there are also invisible boosts hidden throughout the run. You may have seen that in Thunder Park when I jumped and got the 9-second boost that was inside one of the boats floating in the air. Also, I just forgot Arctic Circle, but I'll be doing that after this one. Oh, that's not... Yeah, a simple mistake, but it's very... I can just go back to that later. Because, of course, in this category, you can just do the tracks in any order you want anyway, so it's not like it really affects anything. I missed that ramp, but that's perfectly okay. Okay. I was intending to do this next track coming up after Lost Island, but I kind of messed up and forgot. But okay, so the next track is Arctic Circle. This track here is one of the most important tracks in the run. One of the most important tracks in the run. This track is very punishing for error, and in certain areas, things that go wrong can lose a ton of time. Hopefully I can show some of the... show all that off. Yeah, this event is fully online. So you know how ramps launch you? Well, some level geometry has that as well, in places you wouldn't expect. So that invisible collision just launched me at a really high speed. And now we're going to be, hopefully... okay. The really hard part of this track is now over. So now we just have... some air control. Well, by this, skipping that ramp to save time. And we're going to be skipping this ramp because we really don't need that boost. That was a really good Arctic Circle. I am very happy with that.
Choose your track.
Okay, so the next track is the Far East, another very important track. This track will be taking more advantage of level geometry that launches you at a much higher speed. IL competition, there was an IL competition scene for this game a few years ago, but it has pretty much died down completely. There used to be very small communities for this game, but those are pretty much died out. And there's another one of the pieces of level geometry that launched me at a really high speed. Although that could actually... you can land on an earlier part of that to get a much higher speed boost, but yeah, it's kind of hard. But there's hopefully there'll be another speed boost coming later. Okay, so hopefully if I do this right, there we go. Hey. I really messed that up at the end, but yeah. If I did this right, I would maybe be able to maintain most of that boost, most of that speed until about this point. About the point of the last turn that I had. that large speed boost that I hit is exclusive to this version of the game. The other versions have their own, some of the other versions have their own large speed boost, but that specific speed boost there is exclusive to this version. And now we're on to the hard tracks. Ship Graveyard doesn't really have much to talk about, but one of the hard tracks, Venice Canals, oh boy, I'll get more into that when I get there. But yeah, Ship Graveyard has a couple of things of note, but not really nothing huge. I went to the left at the start to avoid the AI opponents. Oh yeah, I do want to talk about the AI opponents. Unlike Off-Road Thunder, this is a pretty much complete contrast to Off-Road Thunder, at least at this version. While the AI in other versions had some rubber banding, there is actually a way to manipulate it. This version completely throws all the rubber banding aspects out the window, so all the AI opponents can be passed within the first 40 seconds of the track. That normally would not happen on any other version. Now I do that in a specific way so I can get that boost there. There was a potential for me to actually clip through that ramp that I was just on. I'm gonna slow down my speed game just a bit so that I can not hit anything. We just pretty much not really have to worry about the killer waves ahead, as the announcer says. So yeah, going back to Venice Canals. You know how this game runs at a fairly low frame rate? Venice Canals is the chuggiest track in the entire game. And because of this, because of how laggy Venice Canals tends to be, it's extremely difficult to play, even more so than in any of the other versions. The game can get to the point where it not really reads your inputs correctly, sometimes even input delay. But, despite all of that, there is a possibility we may not have to worry about all of that. But for now, I'm going to hold off on my commentary so I can focus. And we'll definitely be able to see the lagginess of this track. I was supposed to get it. Well, there. So I'm going to be taking this slower path so I can get more boost. Yeah, this track is... Ooh, it's going to be... When something goes wrong... Oh boy, does it go wrong. Oh boy. But... I'm going to do this next upcoming section in a very specific way. Okay, this was pretty slow, but yes, out of bounds. Out of bounds, baby. We are in the void. Also, this... Ah, crap. Okay, so that did not go according to plan. But yeah, I did get to show off the fact that this track has an out of bounds. That was extremely slow, but hey, I got out of bounds.
Choose your track. Only New York disaster.
Okay, so now we have New York Disaster. Oh, by the way, back in Venice Canals, the reason why I got turned around is because of the mechanics of the game that make you turn back towards the intended path. Getting out of bounds screws with that quite a bit, and is one of the main reasons why that why that out of bounds has so much room for error. There's a hollow ceiling. That actually was not faster than no out of bounds because of the unfortunate turnaround by the game. Yeah, in terms of New York Disaster, there really isn't much to talk about. But in an IL setting, you'd have to be really careful with your boost consumption because of how much boost you need to use. Although in regular run settings, it's not too bad. And pretty much from this point, there isn't much to go into until the last track. Yeah, the classic, whoa, 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 slow it down there, you friggin' nut job. Also, I believe this game is the first time I probably ever heard the word friggin'. But now we are going into the last set of tracks, the bonus tracks. They're pretty much, it's a trio of circuits and then the final track. The circuits themselves don't have much of note, but the last track does, so I'll be chiming in with commentary when necessary. Also, a little random fact, the voice clip that you may hear playing during this load screen, this version is the only port from the arcade that retains that clip. All other versions remove it. Well, it actually may still be in the files, but it doesn't play normally. Yeah, there's an invisible boost there. There's also another one that I'm going to be grabbing in the next lap. Got that boost. Oh, I got that. I did not need to get that. So because of that, I'm going to be doing this instead. Yeah, Catacomb probably had the least effort put in. Of course, this track was the one that was added in the console ports. Catacomb and Castle Von Dandy, the next track, one of the upcoming tracks, was not originally in the arcade version. They were added in when the game was ported to consoles. And this track honestly does feel a little rushed. Air control here. And that was Catacomb. And now the next track is Hydro Speedway. This track was in the arcade version as a hidden track if you pressed the I believe you have to highlight a certain track and press the camera buttons in a certain order in order to access usage in this track. I don't want to run out really early. Also nice. Also collision's nice. PS1 exclusive things. Actually, oh, don't worry. There isn't much. There isn't a whole lot to be missed with this track. Okay, there's the only hidden boost in this track, and the amount of boost that I have here is the only boost I'll have for the rest of the track. So I had to be a little careful here in my usage of the boost. Because no boost is bad. It's very bad. Okay, I'm good now. Okay, that was a new personal best on this file that I'm using, but it's not a my best IL time. So just figured I would put that in just figured I would put that out there. Most of the track times you see as the best time are not actually my best because of the file that I'm using. Okay, so this is the last track of the Circuit Trio. Castle Von Dandy. As with the other circuit tracks, there isn't much to talk about. Your winner! Yeah, this track is mostly just go fast. No, not... Yeah, file PB. Got the hidden 9-second boost in there. While we've gotten all the boosts that are visible, there is still one invisible boost left. There is a chance I could miss this because it is slightly tricky, but hopefully I won't miss it. And it's coming up about right here. Got it. Hit a bell, gives you boost. Like go through a bell, gives you boost. Good old 90s style arcade racers. By the way, funny little hit of the finish line. There is a possibility you can actually get stuck in that finish line. Okay. So now we have the final track in the run, which is Nile Adventure. This is the longest track in the game. And this is also a very punishing track for error. So, hopefully, nothing goes horribly wrong. As with the other tracks, I will chime in with commentary when necessary. So yeah, this part coming up has a property that can completely screw me over. So if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. But if it happens, well, then it happens. Okay. Depending on how I hit that, there's a possibility that I could just straight up have clipped through back into the normal path. Also, I intended to hit the wall there, hit the right wall during that big drop. Since I missed it, I didn't line myself up correctly. This other part of the game, and here's also one of the most tricky parts of the game. This section. Do not hit the walls. Hitting the walls here is very, very bad. If you do hit them, you will most likely bounce around like a pinball. And here's a little route that other runners never took. This was originally thought to be slower, but as I've recently found out, it's neither faster or slower than the regular route, as long as you do it correctly. So, and it's like, well, speed boost. So why not do it? Okay, so this section is pretty much just jump, 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 and jump again. Because yes. Oh, by the way, time is coming up fairly soon when I cross the finish line coming up. Now for the final section, or the final big stretch. You can clip through that eye that pops out, by the way. And time.